So I feel like of all the movie genres out there, films about the Holocaust is a tough one to get right. It's a very intense subject. It's a very difficult subject to talk about. Every single aspect of what went down showed the worst of humanity, and it was just an awful time in world history that necessitated the death of millions of people to fix it and to put an end to it. So across the board, it's just a really difficult subject to tackle. There's not a lot of movies about the Holocaust. There are some, and they're all. I mean, there's not like any. I can't think of any like movies that don't handle the subject with the proper amount of care and respect. And The Zone of Interest is one of those movies. So let's talk about this really good historical drama from 2023. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Before we get started, click on that red subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you know whenever I post a new piece of content. So The Zone of Interest hit my radar last year, and I just watched it for the first time. This is a really good movie that tackles the subject of the Holocaust in a very different way. Here's what I mean. This movie is PG-13, which I never thought I would watch a Holocaust movie that's rated PG-13 because the subject is so intense and messed up. But what this movie does is it shows Auschwitz, which was one of the most horrific Nazi concentration camps, from the point of view, and the protagonist in this movie is the commander Rudolf Hess. And in the movie, he's a regular person, right? So he has his wife and his young children. His wife tends to the garden. They have this like beautiful, idyllic life that they've built together. But that life they've built and all these normal things they do are situated directly next to Auschwitz, this terrible, awful, monstrous place where people were gassed and put into ovens and burned alive and starved and tortured, just like hell, like the most hellacious place on earth next to this idyllic life that they built together. And that's basically the movie. I feel like even calling it a movie is kind of a disservice because it's much more of a like extended and slightly drawn out day in the life of feature. Because there's not a lot of like conflict. There's no big bad guy, despite the fact that our protagonists, him and his wife, even at some points more so, are just completely monstrous human beings. So yeah, that's the movie. There's not really a whole lot more to it than that. The film itself is extremely well done. It's a gorgeous looking movie that again tackles a very difficult subject. The sound design is fantastic. You can hear gunshots and screams and the furnaces running in the background. And that's really how we view the camp. The camp itself is only shown like glimpses of the roof line over the wall of the Hess compound. And so you get like these little glimpses into what life is like on the other side of this wall. Some of the Jewish people come over and help around the house and do little tasks like that. But yeah, this is a movie that really tackles the subject from a unique perspective, and I think does it really well. And Jonathan Glazer deserves a lot of credit for that. The sound design is great, movie looks fantastic, performances are all really good. But this is not it's not like a war movie, and it doesn't show all of the horror up front and in your face. It shows it in the background, and it shows the mundane, boring, everyday life of people who deserve nothing but scorn because these people are absolute effing monsters. And I think that's a really cool way of portraying this this point of view of the Holocaust. So it's a hard movie to compliment because it tackles, again, a challenging subject. But the way it does it is very different and unique, and I think is something you should see. So The Zone of Interest is a really good movie. I hesitate to say I enjoyed it because you don't really enjoy a movie about the Holocaust. but it has good production values and is a film that's worth checking out. So thank you so much for checking out this review. Hope you liked it, found it helpful. Let me know in the comments, hit me up. Let me know what you think of the zone of interest, and I will see you next Wednesday at 9 a.m.